Have you ever heard about a movie that you really wanted to watch? Then the hunt begins. Is it on Netflix? No. How about Hulu? No. Okay, well, maybe HBO Max? No. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll head over to Amazon, eBay, or even a boutique label to order that Blu-ray. Or a DVD if I want to be archaic. Oh, no luck? Well, what about that questionable place that, we go when we have to? I really want to see this movie after all. It's not on there either? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Overly Honest Movie Reviews. My name is Chris, and as always, I try to give you guys what you want to see. Please like this video, then subscribe and follow me for more content like this. I cover anything and everything related to movies, both old and new. Okay, so no sane person would actually do all that digging. You just Google it and see where the best way to see it is. Well, the problem is a lot of films currently aren't on streaming services, and that's a real issue. That's why I have this. Anyways, the other issue comes with out-of-print films, which I'll cover in another video later on, but out-of-print movies are also an issue to me, at least. However, this video isn't about that. It's about one of the most tragic parts of film history. So a lost film is defined as one that no part or parts of a print have known to survive. There are claims that over half of all American-made films before the 1950s, and over 90% of films made before 1929 are lost forever. A major German film archive estimates that 80 to 90% of silent films are lost. Literally, lost, gone, will never be seen again. The Library of Congress calculates that at least 75% of silent films are lost, so 75 to 90, either way, that's just heartbreaking. The first time I ever personally was impacted by a lost film was when I was researching a project to watch all of the Oscar-nominated films. And I don't mean just this year or last year or the year before like I do every year now. I'm talking about every film that's ever been nominated from the start of the Oscars to today. The results not only shocked me, but it really broke me down. As you've heard before, and will likely hear again, I'm what I call a completist. I don't like to start a project that I can't really complete at some point to 100%. It's why I've never started Doctor Who, because there's missing episodes. It's also why I spent an absurd amount of money on the entire Dark Shadows series, which you can see right there in that awesome little coffin box. So I'll cover that box in another episode, but I will say I'm absolutely loving the series. I'm only 88 episodes in, which they're 21 to 25 minutes, so, 88's a lot, but they're not super long. So there's 1,225 total episodes in the original series, so I have a way to go. The real kicker is Barnabas, the main character, doesn't actually appear for over 100 more episodes. I found that there are several issues with the idea of watching every Oscar-nominated film. I'm only going to cover some of the biggest issues so that I can focus a little bit more on them. The biggest of the bigs would be the 1928 film The Patriot. No, not the 2000 Mel Gibson Bonanza. I'm talking 1928. It's the only Best Picture nominee that no complete or nearly complete copy exists. Which is ironic because I believe it's on New York Times' 1001 Films to See Before You Die, which, kind of makes that difficult. There's always the hope that someday someone will find a copy in an old barn somewhere, a basement, an attic. Even then, who knows the quality. So the film won the Academy Award for Best Writing. Okay. And was also nominated for Best Actor, Art Direction, and then, of course, Best Picture. It was the only silent film nominated that year, and it was the last silent film to be nominated until 2011's The Artist won. Next up is The Way of All Flesh from the year before. Star Emil Jannings won the first ever Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Can you imagine an Academy Award-winning film just not existing? Just gone forever. No way we can ever see that performance that was good enough to win an Academy Award. Sadly, there are 9 films in the Academy's history that are either entirely or partially lost or have other issues. The last winner to have an issue would be the 1929 pre-code musical The Broadway Melody. And that was actually the first film to win Best Picture with sound. So, there's that. Thankfully, the majority of it still is in existence, although there is a long Technicolor scene that is likely lost to history. There's a black and white version that we have. So, I mean, this is kind of the lesser of the huge issues. I really won't dig into the issues on the other films. There's 1930s Song of the Flame, also 1930s The Case of Sergeant Grishka, 1927's The Private Life of Helen Troy, 1949 short, which in 1949, a short was a film that had one reel versus two reels. So that's what they considered a short back then. It was called The Chase of Death. 1958's The Kiss. And of course, most know the infamous issues with the 1954's Judy Garland's A Star is Born. They're all issues that are going to loom over the preservation of film history forever. Most of these will never get any better than they are right now. You know, A Star is Born had a lot of restoration work and still is missing a lot, but it was better than what it was back in the day. Unfortunately, you know, that's kind of where it is now, and it's not a perfect cut by any means. Lost films, unfortunately, aren't only Oscar-nominated ones. There are many other notable films that are likely gone forever. Believe it or not, Alfred Hitchcock's second film, The Mountain Eagle, is lost. It's devastating to me to know that these films will never be found. While occasionally there are finds, even a honey hole every once in a while that has multiple old lost films, the clock ticks against them being successfully rescued every day. Film, especially older film, doesn't age well. Take into account that most of these older films are found in places that aren't climate controlled. Well, you know, the end results aren't great. Sadly, one of the reasons for lost films is because of the type of film they were on. It was old nitrate film that was used up into the 50s. It was incredibly flammable, and these studios didn't have the safest methods of storage. There have been 3 major fires that have lost. I don't really know the number. There's different variances depending on who you look or who you talk to, what site you're looking at. Universal suffered a fire in 1924, Fox had one in 1937, and MGM had one in 1965. I can only imagine the number of amazing films that are gone because, you know, there was one copy sitting in a vault somewhere that, you know, probably went up like that. One of the craziest things to me personally is that at one point films were considered almost worthless. So much so that they were intentionally destroyed, caught on fire to get the tiny little bits of silver out of the film. The silent era especially suffered the most. Once sound came around, they lost the importance to studios, and they just had all these movies without words taking up space. There were even studios that would remake a film with sound and then just get rid of the silent version because why do we need the silent film? Because we have one with sound now. I could literally spend days diving into the history of these films. Amazing films that will never be seen. Unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to leave a link down in the description to the Wikipedia page on lost films. It includes so many. It's crazy to see this list and think that all of these movies will be gone forever. I'll eventually dive into some of these on an individual basis, especially ones that really interest me. Like there was an original Christmas Carol, which we know has been made countless times. The Wizard of Oz. They're not the Judy Garland one, but one of the original versions of The Wizard of Oz, which, by the way, for those of you getting upset that The Wizard of Oz is technically going to be remade again, that movie's been remade 50 plus times, so it happens. Don't get too upset. With that, I ask you, did you know that there were even lost films? Is there a holy grail of lost films out there that you know of that, you know, you would personally love to see? Whether it's a director or a topic or a original version of a film that you love. Can you imagine how different the history of film would be if we had never lost any of these films? I'm talking probably thousands of extra movies built into our zeitgeist of film history from start to finish. Thank you for joining me. Please comment below and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Don't forget to like this video, then subscribe and follow me if you'd like to see more videos like this. Either this Friday or Saturday, depending on when I can get it finished, I'll be releasing my Oscar preview video. Then the following week, I'll be tackling the winners of the Oscars this Sunday, so make sure you guys watch. I know there's all sorts of issues with the Oscars, but it's still going to be fun. So make sure you watch. I'll follow that up the following week with a video on the thoughts of the winners.